venit la Marketing Fără Secrete, podcastul care îți arată oamenii, canalele și tacticile de care ai nevoie pentru a ajunge la conversie. Invitata mea din acest episod este Izabela Sobstyl, Country Marketing Director pentru Oriflame România. Izabela, thank you so much for taking the time and being on our podcast today.
Thank you very much. I'm really super happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Glad meeting you finally.
Yeah, finally. We've been talking for a little bit about this. There's a lot to go through and I want to be respectful of your time. But first, I wanted to give you the opportunity to speak a little bit about your experience kind of so far and then your current role within Oriflame.
Of course. So I'm Polish, first of all, but I'm living in Romania for more than 2 years already. I have an experience of 15 years in marketing. Right now, I am a country marketing director in Oriflame Romania. However, during my career in 15 years, of course, many things has happened. However, my main experience is in the beauty, fashion, and media industry. And during these 15 years, I had a chance to work in the TV. That was my starting point, where I was planning the TV campaigns for the different industries, for cosmetics like L'Oreal, for the car brands like Peugeot. I was working with Lidl very closely, so many brands, a lot of happening during this time, and it was a great start for me. After that, I moved to the fashion industry, and there was a lot of work on the image creation. That is a big part of my interest. And in 2013, I moved to the beauty industry. And I started to work in Oriflame. During this time, I managed to launch my makeup brand On Color, which we can see here. This brand is valid in more than 60 countries right now, so it's a really big opportunity for me and great experience working on it. I started from the branding, creating the name, packaging, portfolio, so a lot of elements coming across this launch. And of course, it gave me a lot of experience with brand creation, with product development, but at the same time creating the strategies for the communication and product launches on the market, regional level and the global level as well.
Mm-hmm. So you're deeply rooted not just in beauty, as you said.
No,
coming
exactly.
From fashion into beauty, launching your own products.
Yes. Actually, I was very much interested into the journalism, and I finished journalism. After that, I finished cultural studies, and I followed with the image creation. So I was following my interest, and I must say that from one side, I'm very lucky, but I also worked very hard to be in the places that were bringing me a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. There's this old saying, I think it's an African proverb that says that if you want to go fast, you should go alone. But rather, if you want to go further, you should go together. And based on this, I'd like to ask you, who are the key people on your marketing team that you go to maybe on a daily basis, on a constant basis, to first understand what's going on and to effectively move things forward?
Well, I need to admit that I fully signed to the words that you said, because I cannot imagine growing without the fantastic team. And I don't know any good manager that succeeds without the great team standing behind. And for me, this is the core of the business. The team is driving the business. The team is driving the strategy. And you need to be sure that you have the right people on the right places. People who are satisfied, people who love what they do, and people who really can support you in every moment. And in my case, I am once again lucky, but also very proud because my team is very strong. And it's very hard to say, this person is a key person for the performance or for deliveries. No, actually, in our marketing Oriflame team, we've got a team of individuals. Team of completely different personalities, unique people that are creating fantastic atmosphere, but at the same time are very openly spoken. They share their ideas, and they really love what they are doing. And Right now, the positions are very widely selected. So a very important person in my team is a copywriter that is taking care of the storytelling, which is so important in marketing. A person responsible for communication and PR that is driving all of the activities related with the influencers, user-generated content, which is a core in the business right now. Digital person, which takes care about all of the ads, everything what is happening on the website. Moving to the events that in Oriflame, it's a specific business because it's B2B, B2C, we work with direct selling in the direct selling industry. So we create a lot of happenings and events on the daily basis for our brand partners. And moving forward, we also have trainings in the big focus. And in order to make the business rolling, we need to make sure that we have a proper pricing, we have a forecast on the place. And in marketing team, in Oriflame, in Oriflame Romania, that's also a part of our activities. So I would be unfair saying that this is a key player from my perspective as a team, because I'm saying that very, very honestly, each of the person brings a huge impact into the everyday business. And I'm really proud of them every day. So lucky me having this fantastic team. And I'm sure that they are standing behind our success that we have right now. We are one of the fastest growing markets in Europe. We have the biggest growth when it comes to the new customers in Europe. So I believe that the team is the power that is standing for the company.
Mm-hmm. You were mentioning earlier before we started talking about the idea of all of these launches that you're doing, like one after another. They're sometimes parallel, simultaneous. And so I would assume that with this sort of team, you would have in place specific processes where you would have like automated reports or specific meetings. How would you describe kind of the day-to-day of your specific job? It's like, is it mainly speaking to people? Is it traveling a lot? Is it strategies? All of the above?
Actually, yes, indeed, I am traveling and I'm in a close contact with the regional team and global team. However, the main communication is still among our team. We have processes, of course, in order to drive such a big business, we need to be very well structured. And we are relying on our internal reports, but at the same time, of course, we work with the external specialists, and we have a dedicated agency that we work with for the influencers. We have a dedicated agency that we work with the advertising part, but we are also trying to make our best in-house. So when it comes to the organic posts on our social media channels, we are taking care of it. So it's a mix. However, the reporting part, of course, each campaign is taken through, and we go deeply into the results to make sure that whatever we do brings the results. And for us, it's very important to improve each day the results. And especially nowadays, I think that we all, unfortunately, know what is happening on the market. The unstable situation after COVID situation in Ukraine, dramatic situation in Ukraine, of course, pushes us to look twice on the activities and to make sure that whatever we do brings the better and better results. And going this direction is only possible if you really take care about the reporting part and rely on the team, of course, once again.
Mm-hmm. You're mentioning that there's obviously the internal team, but then there are also these other agencies that, let's say, gravitate around you, that help you. How do you make decisions around which sort of like tasks or processes do you take internally versus a dedicated entity?
Yes, of course, we look deeply into the resources that we are having internally. If we are able to cover some area, we do it internally. However, in new channels, very often it happens that we don't have this expertise that external agency can have. And the best example is TikTok. We started to work with TikTok in 2022 in March. We were planning to do that already in 2020 when I moved to Romania, but due to the COVID situation, we had so many things on the plate happening and burning that we simply were not able to move forward earlier. And in 2022, we decided, okay, we don't have a particular person in the team that can totally fully concentrate on this channel. We know that this channel is developing very well. We know that this is a future. There is no chance to escape or quit this channel because it's becoming bigger and bigger. It's one of the fastest growing apps. So we simply need to be there ASAP. So we decided to work with the agency that created the content for us, is taking care of daily basis posts, and in the journey during the time we started to learn together with them.
I was looking at the numbers. I think you mentioned it on your LinkedIn as well. There was around 50,000 at the moment followers in such a short amount of time.
Exactly. I see it as a huge success, especially having in mind that we do our best to grow organically when it comes to the TikTok. Of course, we have some boosted campaigns, but our main goal was to really explore this channel as much as possible. Initially with our materials that we have, product-oriented materials. However, with the time, we understood that user-generated content, influencers materials, product tests, and very natural and honest opinions are the drivers of this channel. So for sure we are changing as well the strategy through the way, looking at the market trends, happenings and the results as well. But indeed, yes, we have 50,000 followers almost in such a short period of time. And I hope that we will grow with the same tempo continuously.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers and the content posted there, and I'm sure that it's just going to increase from there because it's maybe me, I'm not necessarily in the target audience, me specifically, but I was looking at the content. I was entertained. I was definitely entertained.
Glad to hear.
I was looking at it as like, okay, I'm
very glad to hear.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for this feedback.
I usually, I'm pretty blunt about things, but as you mentioned, there's a mix of, let's say, brand-owned content, user-generated content, and maybe a mix of the two. And they gel well together. And the numbers definitely prove that it's a strategy that's working
fantastic
for you.
I'm very glad hearing that, especially from you, expert in this area. So I'm very, very glad.
There are certain elements keeping on the theme of people. And as you mentioned, there are certain areas that you can quickly develop an expertise for, whereas others, there are some where it's kind of difficult, or let's say it's difficult to do everything perfectly. And there's a lot of talk about virtual influencers, artificial intelligence, metaverse. I just wanted to get your take on how you see these kind of trends, and how are you looking at approaching some of them? Are you like doing tests? Are you talking about, are you requesting like reports?
Actually, this is the area that we would like to move forward. And from the global perspective, definitely we started we started the discussion. We started the first steps in this direction. Of course, it's too early to go forward. However, I believe when it comes to the future, we will need to definitely focus on the internal resources that will be able to cover also this area. And I'm thinking step by step, starting from the user-generated content and moving forward to the more virtual world, which I personally find very exciting. And from one side, it's a bit of a scary what will happen, how the market will react, how we will find ourselves also in the virtual reality. But from other hand, I have a feeling that it's a fantastic opportunity for all of us from entertainment perspective, but also from the branding and marketing point of view.
I was talking with a colleague of mine this week, and we were both wondering if it's, let's say specifically the metaverse, if it's just a trend, because it's not really clear if it's Internet 2.0, if it's just virtual reality, if it's mixed between different, because other players are working on, it's not just Facebook or Snapchat working on these metaverses, let's say. I think the overall thinking that we got was that it's a matter of attention, and it's grabbing, let's say, quote unquote, those eyeballs. Like, where are people spending the most of their time? Initially, it was desktops, it was the internet, but then it switched to smartphones. Obviously, we're not totally shut in, so we out of home, obviously, still big. How do you, moving on to this element of this category of channels, how do you look at the channels that you are looking to use for, let's say, a specific launch that maybe you're doing in December? How do you make those decisions? There should be, let's say, 10% allocated out of home, 50% TikTok and stuff like that.
How is the mix? Of course, it's related with the seasonality, the area that we want to focus at this period of time. However, I must say that currently, as of 2020, we are focusing mainly on the online way of working. And we were working in the past with the press. We were present very strongly in this area. However, we started to swap. And in 2020, we took a very fast journey, a very fast train to the digital world, not only from the perspective of promoting our business, promoting our products, but also the way that we are working with the events, with the trainings, the happenings that we thought that are not replaceable. Let's imagine the Christmas party, where, of course, everything is about the excitement, person-to-person relationship. We were able to change into the fully digital happening. So step by step, we realized that this is the direction, and our strategy is to put the biggest attention to the digital area. And here the question is how we split the channels. So for us, still Facebook, from the revenue perspective, is the biggest. That's the channel that is bringing the highest income. However, we are very strongly working also with Instagram from the branding perspective, reaching new people in order to bring more awareness to the brand. And TikTok is for us, I think that the fastest growing channel and the biggest future. So also from the strategic point of view and bigger picture, how we as a company want to grow, how we want to develop the business, where the end consumer will go, what will be our target group. So it's all related with those factors. So where we want to be, what kind of product we have in our hands in this moment to promote, and of course budget. All of those areas needs to match. And at this moment, online is the best solution for us, combining the widest reach, the highest return of investment, and being also reachable from the budget perspective.
Is there a fear for TikTok, since it's somewhat of a new channel, even though, as you said, it's the fastest growing, even though it's a new channel, is there a fear of simply providing awareness, that it just provides awareness? Or are you right now also looking at, from a financial point of view, revenue point of view, it does drive significant business or relevant business? We
hope that it will start. Right now we are focusing on the awareness, but it's not without the reason. We would definitely start the sales campaigns on TikTok. However, we are missing the technical part that we cannot develop on the local market level. We need to wait for the solution from the global perspective. If not that, I must admit that we would definitely already start also the sales campaigns. For now, it's the reach, it's the visibility of the brand, it's reaching new generation. But when I'm thinking about the young generation, I think that it's also important to mention, because for many people, TikTok is a channel for the youngsters, and teenagers, which is completely not true. It's a channel that is dedicated for the most powerful target group from 25 to 35 years old. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, it's around 20% of the contribution in Romania of the users using TikTok, which is fantastic opportunity. Instagram is 30% in this age group. So I believe that in a few years from now, that there will be a huge swap and TikTok will become the number one when it comes to all of the activities. And I'm excited. I'm using TikTok. I'm the viewer of TikTok. I'm not the active person adding my own materials on TikTok. However, I must say that this is a source of the information as well. And it's a fantastic direction. It's a fantastic channel where we don't only base on the entertainment, but we also get a lot of information from.
Mm-hmm. It's, let's say, not surprising to hear what you're mentioning. Surprising to hear you say that it will be number one, at least in your point of view. Is it also a matter, because we were talking internally around, as you mentioned, this element of new generations. And I think at the moment, at least from my point of view, Facebook is seen as like our parents' social network. If the parents are there, we need to get out. Instagram is somewhat in the middle, and then there's this TikTok that everybody keeps talking about, and then Twitter is somewhat up in the air at the moment, at least for us in Romania. Is it simply because of this, let's say, not replacing, but replenishing that element of new generations, like how are newer people learning about Oriflame, essentially? Is that kind of the point? Yes.
The thing is that our direction for the future is to rejuvenate our end consumer. And that's why I'm focusing so much on this area, and TikTok is for me so important because I found it the best channel for the rejuvenation. And mentioning about the Facebook, I totally agree. It's a little bit old-fashioned channel. Of course, we need to have a big respect to this channel, also because of our current target group and our current customer. And for Oriflame, the age group is not around 28 years old. It's around 36 years old customer, 40 years old customer. So Facebook is a very good solution to reach them out. And of course, bring really good results when it comes to the return of the investment. So we would definitely not forget about the Facebook. It's too early, it's too fast. We need to do step-by-step swap and incorporation of the new channels into the strategy. And as mentioned, actually, of course, we have one budget, but we need to think wisely how to split the activities and how to balance between the sales and the reach, meaning visibility. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Are there, let's not talk about specific numbers, but are you looking at things like, as you mentioned, maybe the 36 to 40-year-olds have a specific purchase behavior? Maybe they purchase products, let's say, once a month or something like that, whereas younger generations have a increased purchase behavior? Is that a thing?
Actually, it depends from the industry to industry, I believe. I may say from my perspective, what I'm observing in Oriflame, the tendency is opposite. And it's not without the reason. We are a direct selling company, which means that our brand partners, people who are oriented on creating business with us, becoming their own boss, becoming an entrepreneur, in the past started some time ago. And we have a big group of people around 35, 40 years old. So they are very stable. They are very, very loyal. From the purchase perspective, because they simply love our products, they know that we are standing for the highest quality, they simply know that they can trust us. But at the same time, that's the group that is building their own business with us. So they are recommending our products to their friends. They are recommending our products to their families. And of course, their final basket is bigger. And when it comes to the young generation, this is also a part of the marketing. We are approaching young generation very actively. We want them to see us. We want them to enter our website, to scroll through the products, and of course to make them interested, excited, and to make them place the first order to try our product. However, they are selecting also the products that are not related with the highest loyalty. When we think about the young customer, they will focus on the makeup products mainly. Makeup products is very much related with the trends, with the shades. You love it, you hate it. One day you go with this brand, another day you go with another brand. So young generation is not that loyal in terms of the customer. However, they are a great group to create the trust for others, because they are very open to recommend the product. If they love it, they share it on Instagram, they share it on their social channels. They are not scared of digitalization. Elder group will focus more on the skincare products, products that you use long term. And of course, if you feel used, you feel that the product is delivering what you are expecting, you will continue this purchase. So when it comes to the purchase perspective, for us it's a little bit opposite. Actually, the elder age group is more active, more loyal, and they are having much more purchases during the year. And the younger generation is more focused on the trends, on the fun, on exploring the beauty with us.
As you mentioned, I was reminded about something that is kind of at the core of what we do at Flame Enjoy, which is trust drives growth. And it feels like you're in the same sentiment, going and talking with communicating with these newer generations. It's less initially about making that initial purchase, but rather, hey, we're here, look at what we're able to provide. If you're with us, you can be with us for the long run, and obviously everybody benefits from that. But that first step is this element of trust. How are you translating this trust and authenticity in terms of the way you communicate? Because it's omnichannel world. It's, I would assume, challenging to have maybe not the same message, but a fully constructed good message across mediums.
Yes, of course, we are a global company. So, and it's great from this perspective that we stick to the brand image. We know for what we stand. We don't communicate, meaning our communication always needs to stand for the trustability, for the fact that we are from Sweden, products that we deliver are tested. So we do our best in order to communicate the same message, no matter which channel is that. We are focusing very strongly on sustainability, and it doesn't matter if it's an article, it's a post on our channel, if it's a small material on TikTok. But at the same time, we try to brief also influencers with whom we are working with to convey this message. And of course, whenever we do that not as a brand, the outcome can be different, which is, I think, very beautiful as well, because each person perceives the brand products they are trying in a different way. And from the brand perspective, we communicate we have 360 approach of the same color communication, branding, the same tone of voice, etc. However, then the brand starts to become a real touchable when it comes as a product to people's hands. And I believe that this is the beauty of going further with the user-generated content and influencers marketing.
It is quite, we were talking with a few brands lately, and it is quite a startling change. You have to be a little bit crazy, a little bit courageous to invest in user-generated content and what the whole area influencer market, because sometimes you can't fully control the message or the way that it's transmitted, but at the same time, I think that's kind of a two-edged sword, where the good side is, as you mentioned earlier, is that if the younger generation or influencers specifically, they enjoy the products, they will share it on their own organically and spread it to their followers, and this is...
Yes, definitely. And as you mentioned, there is some risk, but those who doesn't take risk don't drink champagne as well. And maybe it sounds funny, but I believe that we need to be open for the people's opinion. And as a brand, Oriflame was born 55 years ago. And from us, from the very beginning, the business model, the way that we were working was based very strongly on the recommendation. But at that time, 55 years ago, it was recommendation from person to person. That was the driver of the business through our brand partners, people who tried the product, people who wanted to create the business with us. They were promoting products because they tried them. They believed in them. And from the very beginning, we're creating user-generated content, but offline. And right now, I must say that for us, the new strategy is the old strategy, but moved to the different channels. And I'm not scared of it. I think that this is the beauty, and we need to keep people open to speak about the products. Don't be afraid of that, because if you deliver good product, if you deliver the product that you can trust in, you don't need to be worried what they will say. And from a brand perspective, Oriflame decided to have the open 30 days guarantee for the customers. For everyone who buys the products, we have 30 days that you can return it if you don't like it. No matter if you open, you try it, you can return it. If you feel that this product is not good or we don't deliver our promise, you have a chance to give it back. And if we decided to do that, I don't feel scared that through working with the influencers, it can go opposite us, because I really trust in our products.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, the old strategy is the new strategy, or the new strategy is the old strategy. Whereas some people would say, oh, there's this influencer marketing is just something, maybe it's a trend, maybe it's parallel to what we're doing, but the basis is always like organic or ads or PR and stuff like that. But as you put it, it's more along the lines of, this is how the company grew. This is what the future will be like. And it's simply a continuation of what's already been done, but in the digital space.
Exactly. So it's a way of adapting to the new environment and the new channels. It's not changing completely the strategy. Recommendation is a core, it's a DNA of our company. And now it's simply moved to the online, to the social media, and that's it. And I think that it's also worth to mention that reviews, comments, not only the user-generated content, but also the true review about the product. It's also one of the ways of promoting the product, of creating the brand, because right now we have so many products on the market that it's not easy to select between 50 of them. If I see 50 lipsticks, one of them is at 15 RON, another is on 150 RON, how to select? And of course, customers are driven by the emotions, but big portion of them, if they are selecting products that they apply on themselves and they know that it can hurt them or they can really benefit out of it, they are reading reviews. And I think that this is another direction where marketing, where product development, product communication should go, to be open on the reviews on the websites, to give this chance to the customers to leave their note and not to delete them, but to really accept the feedback from the customer, because this is the basic tool. If I, as a customer, look for the product that will help me to strengthen the nails or improve my immune system, I'm definitely looking at the reviews first. And I'm Polish. I know that in Poland we are very deep into the details and we love all of the reviews, comparisons. This is the market that is a hero when it comes to this area. But in Romania, I'm sure that people are also very curious and they really, really read the reviews. And we see the growing interest as well in this area on our site.
It's exactly what I wanted to ask you about next. You mentioned that Poland, highest, what would you call it, selling biggest e-com market for Oriflame, right?
Yes, it's the biggest market in Europe right now. Romania is the second biggest, so we are catching up. And of course, I wish all of the markets the best, but being here, of course, I want us to grow as much as possible.
Are you seeing any specific things? You talked about this element of obviously emotional buying is something that's real, but at the same time, are you seeing this trend of, well, customers are becoming a bit more picky, or they're starting to do their homework? Maybe it's combined with this element that you talked about, that it's literally, there's a lot of products out there. How do you differentiate?
Actually, the customers started to be more aware and more educated. In the past, we were trusting what the company was communicating to us. Right now, we know that there is a marketing standing behind the product, and transparency is very important. Reviews are exactly helping them. So I believe that for the products that are a little bit more expensive, customers started to do real study and research before they purchase. I don't think that it happens when it comes to the lower value products. I think that still makeup will be a very much emotion-driven category. But when it comes to the skincare, to the well-being products, wellness products, vitamins, I think that here, or essential oils, here we are more aware. We want to get the best. We don't want to harm ourselves. We don't want to harm our kids. And we do the deep study before we really apply or use those products. And at the same time, here we are reflecting to the more educated area of the customer that wants for themselves the best, and started to put the quality over the price. And I think that in all of the markets, that's what is happening. Of course, current situation on the market shows, once looking at the trends, that price still starts to be catching up and started to be more and more important. However, when it comes to the categories of products which we use every day, we still trust on the quality. Actually, now mentioning, sorry for interrupting, I was reading recently the study. What is the main driver when it comes to the purchase? It was a study from Poland, and the study was done 1 year ago in October. And at that time, customers, there were like two areas to compare. Is it important that product, I will run a little bit from the topic, but it was interesting when it comes to the pricing and also how the future will look like. If it's important that the product was produced in Poland, or the price, what is the more important for you as the customer? And last year, it was strongly visible that the fact the product that was produced in Poland was the number one decision maker. Right now, since, of course, the inflation in Poland, it's almost 20%, customers started to react a little bit differently. And the fact that product was produced in Poland, went into the second level. So price took over the place, and we will need to see and observe how the market in Romania will also behave. For me, that was a bit scary, interesting. From other hand, obvious, of course, the payments didn't go as much as the inflation jumped. So yes, we have some changes in the market as well.
Interesting study. It seems like it's not just a matter of, as we talked so far about, personalizing, let's say, content per channel, but also per audience, but then taking into account seasonality, but then taking into account the whole global situation. So it's a lot of things that you need to constantly have on your mind. I would assume that it's, how do you look at the types of channels that are, let's say, the way TikTok was? We see this growing, we should definitely invest. Are there like reports coming in, or are you just like simply scrolling, like what are people talking about? Where is the wave? Where's the next wave of like social media or attention going?
Actually, we don't have a specific reporting for the trends, but we are having eyes wide open, and we are looking for the trends, searching for the articles, discussing with the experts in the area in order to predict where to go for the next year. And being working in such a big company, of course, we need to think long term. And right now we are already closing the strategy for the next year. But when it comes to the full strategy, we have a much longer plan. And then day comes, the reality changes, and of course you need to have a possibility to readapt. And I must admit that in the situation when the industry is changing completely, we need to readapt very fast. And then the strategy that we have for the full year very often is getting redone, scratched, and readapted in order to maximize the potential of today. But indeed, we simply do the study. We actually search a lot of the TikTok as well on the trends, what the experts from other countries are saying, where the industry is going. So we are very, very open. We also discuss with our colleagues from other countries, see what are the trends in other markets, what is the communication channel. And as one of the facts that we started also to think about is the Telegram, how big it will be in Romania. Right now, WhatsApp is the leading platform, but is there a chance that Telegram would take over, like in many markets has happened? So we try to be very, very curious in this area and try the new things. And if we see that it doesn't work, we drop and we start something new. So we are not scared of trying. This is the common fact, and I think that this is the way that we should also act. We should try, we should learn, we should be very curious those days.
I like the how you phrased it, to maximize the potential of today. A little kind of tangent here, but close to the idea of having to adapt to situations, whereas before there was that need, but perhaps it wasn't as underlined as it is nowadays, the element of 2020. How was that planning? You were 2019, maybe
yes.
there were some rumors, you were planning 2020, and then everything
collapsed.
Yeah.
I must say that for me, it was one of the hardest years in my life. Very challenging. Personally, that was the first moment when I moved to Romania. I moved in January and the pandemic has started in March. So actually, of course, just before I moved to Romania, I already started to work on the strategy. I started to learn the market. I started to think how we should work with the team. And we were already after the preparation of the full strategy for 2020, getting to know the team, responsibilities, how to create the trust between each other. And end of March, we were locked down. And that was a really speedy school, how to readapt to the new environment. And we changed the strategies. Our business is very much oriented on the brand partners, which work very hard through the year to receive from us rewards, which are international trips. Traveling around the world, traveling like, for example, next year in January, February, we will be in LA with our brand partners. We just came back from Dubai, and traveling is one of the drivers for the business. And imagine 2020, all of the brand partners are expecting that they are going soon for the trip. You know, this is the time where I will get rewarded. And we need to announce to thousands of people around the world that they cannot travel. We need to cancel the conference that has been planned. That was a huge cost. We are not able to meet anymore. And the live meetings were the driver for the business. Our business model has changed completely. It was upside down. So that was a time when we were working day and night in order to make sure that we will be able to support our brand partners, that we will be able to give them the tools, that we will be able to teach them as soon as possible how to become digital from the way of they are working, to move to Zoom, working on WhatsApp, to be sure that they will continue working, that they will not lose their businesses, which are the key driver. That's the main area they are having income from. But at the same time, to make sure that they will stop being scared of being visible in social media. And I believe that COVID, of course, it was a terrible time, but from the development perspective, we would never be where we are without such a dramatic situation. I think it would take us 10 years from 2020 to get where we are. And right now, I'm very proud because our brand partners are really very active in social media. They are organizing meetings, they are organizing lives, they are sharing their experience with the products, they are sharing how they do the business, which was not that easy for them in 2020. It was overwhelming, not only for us, but also for them. So 2020, the strategy that we have created was redone completely. We moved completely to the online environment. We canceled all of the PR events. We focused on the social media. Of course, SEO. We started to work with Google Ads more actively in order to bring more and more users that will be eager to try our products. But at the same time, we started to develop more and more materials also locally to support brand partners, to deliver them the good quality pictures, to deliver to them good quality videos, to organize the makeup sessions online with the makeup artists. So a lot of happenings during this time. And we managed. I think that it was a big success from our side. We started the weight loss groups. We started to do the online trainings. We launched last year the meal replacement product that is helping people to lose weight. So everything is started to happen online, and now slowly coming back offline, which is also a challenge because, now moving from the online to offline is started to be also a question mark, how to get back, how to do it, how to balance if at some point we will also not get back to the status that we were 2 years ago. But we are managing. It's a very dynamic environment.
Mm-hmm. I completely understand what you're saying around how it's not necessarily something that you wouldn't have done, this, like, let's say, digital transformation, but it's hard to punctuate it or accentuate it in a situation where it's not necessarily needed. Whereas where you're thrust into the situation, where it's like, this is the context. You can't travel. There's no one going outside. Things is in lockdown. We need to change right now, or there won't be a tomorrow, essentially.
Yes. The thing is that in the very beginning, we all thought that in 3 weeks from now or 6 weeks from now, everything will be fine. And I, till today, remember with a friend of mine, we are having fun because we were organizing a PR event, which is supposed to take place in the Swedish embassy. And 3 days before the event, the lockdown has started. And I was calling her saying, I hope that in 6 weeks from now, we will be able to organize it. Probably 1-2 weeks of this craziness, another 3 weeks that people will start to get back to the normal reality and trust to each other. And after that, we can come back and organize this event. Probably 2 months from now, we will be there. The event didn't happen till today. So I think that initially we were all hoping that it's temporary. However, as a company, we started to act immediately. We couldn't, for us, the dynamic is very fast. We are having campaigns. Every 3 weeks, we are having new campaign. So every 3 weeks, we have either winning situation or losing situation. So we cannot wait and think, okay, let's hope that in 2 weeks from now, the sales will come back like this, because it's very easy to lose the momentum when we are performing very well and go down with the number of the customers and active brand partners, and very hard to pull it back. So we started immediately. We moved everything to the Zoom meetings. We started to work with the branded backgrounds, creating the frames on Facebook to bring people some fun. We started to create the do-it-yourself videos, how to take care about yourself at home. We started to work much more with the personal and hair care products, which were the booming at that time. So from the communication perspective, we swapped very quickly, and also from the product offering, we came with the new solutions as well. But indeed, we from the beginning, we took as our action plan, we need to adapt now. We don't look what is happening around. It is what it is. And we just need to find a way to make maximum out of it.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely, again, maybe I'm not the core target audience, but I'm seeing there's a lot more visibility of the brand, and I feel like it's essentially stronger than ever. And I wanted to go into kind of this last part of our talk, which is all about the tactics. What are you noticing at the moment are the things that, let's say, we need the more customers, or that have always been doing well, such as maybe contests or in-person events? What are the specific things that you are doing and say, oh, this is always a part of our launch campaign for a product, let's say?
Well, when it comes to the product part, I must say that it's very important for us to create the stages of the launch and to cover the moment before the launch, during the launch, and post the launch, which is not easy because we have more than 300 products launched every year, and there's a lot of things happening every 3 weeks. But indeed, as an ongoing process that we don't resign at all this year, it's the collaboration with the influencers. And actually, we swapped a bit of the strategy. We are right now in the testing part. We started to work more with the micro and nano influencers. Of course, the core are still bigger influencers that are having a higher coverage and bring the higher perception of the brand. However, from the ongoing element of the campaign that we are not taking away are the influencers. We also focus very much on the Facebook. As mentioned before, this is our core area where we want to make sure that we deliver the revenue and the registrations as well. And I think that, it's all about finding the best way of working with the channel that you are already present. For Facebook, we completely changed the strategy already. Also this year, we started to work with the more optimized campaigns that are working for the long term, rather than the ad hoc quick actions that were much more costly. From our perspective, we're making sense because we're focusing very strong on the offering, but at the same time, from the brand perspective, not necessary, because actually price shouldn't be the thing that is selling the product. That should be the last thing, because if you know that the product is good, you love it, you like how it's presented, you will pay the price. So I think that this is the biggest change. So I would say still influencers and Facebook are the core of our activities. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're seeing large shifts for brands, and I'm sure you're seeing the same thing, where just presenting the simple product is, let's say, no longer enough or not as effective as it used to be. And there's this element of product context, providing elements of how is this product used, what are the reviews, what are people talking about it. How would you look at let's say, the next 6 months, the next 12 months in terms of your influencer marketing strategy? Is it doubling down on what you're already doing? Is it replacing certain tactics with user-generated content, or how are you looking at these elements?
We are working very closely with the agency, and we relied on their recommendations. However, I see that for the next year, we will definitely increase the budget for the influencers. we will focus strongly on the activities with them, and at the same time we would like to boost those activities and to use them as advertisers. So for us it's important to also not just to generate the content by the influencers, but also to make sure that more people will see it. So if we will work with the micro-influencer and the content we will find good enough, high quality, trustable, we would like to also boost this content further. So to increase the visibility of the influencer, and at the same time to make sure that that we will be visible as well.
And then you're mentioning this element of not just working with influencers, but rather how do you push that content further? So how is it working at the moment? You have, let's say you collaborate with a few influencers, they provide some content either directly or they publish it on their accounts.
Yes.
What happens next?
After that, we follow up and we also post this content on our channels. So this is the natural next step. For us, it's important still that influencer will post on their channel the content and will tag us. However, we as a next step, we repost the content on Instagram and on TikTok. If it's a video content as well, we are reposting the content on our stories. So this is a natural element. But till now, the difference actually is that we were not boosting this content so much.
And as you're mentioning, it's a matter of boosting that content from influencers. What have you noticed? Is it just a matter of reaching a wider audience, or is it replacing some of the elements, or why are you looking to push that user-generated content further?
Yes, we would definitely like to reach more people through this content. First of all, of course, if the content is good, it's great for our own channel. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity to make it stronger, make it visible for more people. And it's visible that this content is going very well, much better than the product content. Unless the product content is related with the formulas, testing, hearing how the formula is behaving on the skin and cracking and so on. So I think that right now the direction is to work as much as possible with the experience, and definitely we would like to extend the visibility of our influencers' content or our brand partners' content, because actually I'm saying about the influencers, but it's not necessarily only the influencer. We have a great group of brand partners that are sharing their experience with the products, and we repost their materials as well. Of course, we are very proud of them.
So it feels like what you're saying is there's a place for each type of content, and then in terms of looking at the content quality, how are you actually judging it? Are there specific KPIs, or is it just, I like this piece of content, we'd like to boost it? What are you looking in terms of good content?
It's important for us that the content will also match our brand. We don't go very edgy. Of course, we want to keep our brand clean. So this is important from the influencer's perspective selection as well. And we are selecting the content that is pleasant for the eye, content that gives also the information, shows how to use the product as well. But at the same time, I need to admit that it's very important that the light is good, that the person who is seeing this material on our channel feels that it looks good as well, of course. So we are not pushing or reposting maybe content that is not that high quality, because it also stands for our image. Then we make it go organically through the channels of the influencers. But of course, we cannot repost also everything. So we are pretty selective in terms of that. So it's very important to show the product in usage, to share the real experience, to make sure that the light is good, that the viewer will get a maximum out of this material. And personally, I very much like the materials that are focusing on the benefits, but this is because of the way I'm also searching the products. I like simple, short materials that are giving me the maximum of knowledge, because nowadays we don't have time to wait for too long to get to the information after 60 seconds. Usually we are bored after 5.
Mm-hmm. Is it a specific thing that you've noticed, whether it's Poland, whether it's Romania, where it's not just content or Instagram reels that have become shorter, but also our attention span? So is it the content, has the content adapted for the mediums or the mediums for the content?
I think that we learned to behave differently because we are exposed to so many attractors and happenings around. And I believe that it's a combination, actually. However, I believe that the channels are smart enough to follow the future behavior of the customer. But this is my perception. I think that we are anyways not able to focus on one thing. We usually have a phone in the hand, laptop open. We are answering on the messages on WhatsApp, speaking to someone. And I'm not sure if it's good for us, but that's how it is. And I think that the future will be even more crazy. So I am not the biggest fan of the very long materials. I think that it should be very dense and combined. And it's not only about the social media, it's also about the trainings that we are working with. I think that we need to respect the time of the customer. And just take it for granted that behavior is changing.
Mm-hmm. And then going deeper into this element of influencer marketing, how are you looking at the mix between, let's say, awareness-focused campaigns and purchase-focused campaigns, and then on the other side, ads versus user-generated content?
Mm-hmm. So maybe I will start from the awareness versus revenue in focus campaigns. I must say that this year was a big eye-opener for me, for us locally, because in the last 2 years, we were very much focusing on the sales. And that was one of the, actually, registrations. That's our main KPI because of the specific of the business. But sales was the main area that we really were focused on because everyone was fighting to get as much of sales as possible in the very challenging time. And of course, the budgets started to shrink. So we find the way that is the most efficient to deliver the results. But I must say that this year we were brave enough and we decided that this is enough. We need to start to work on the awareness and on the reach campaign. We created the brand campaign that started in March and finished in June. So 4 months of intense communication. We focused on the beauty talks, beauty unites. So the communication that is in our DNA, very beautiful theme, saying that women around the world, no matter where they are, what they do, what they are interested in, what generation they are, beauty and the talks about beauty are always making pleasure, and testing the beauty and products is always fun. And under this theme, we covered all areas. We were having the social media ads, we were having Google ads, we work with the influencers, we incorporated communication internally into our brand partners. We also incorporated the theme under the event. So we really focus very strongly on this communication. However, our objective this time of this campaign was not sales, it was reach. And during this period of time, we had reached more than 10 million unique users that saw our advertise more than 3 times. So it was a great result. But the thing is that doing this kind of campaign, you need to be, once again, a bit brave and a bit crazy from time to time, because the results are not coming straight away. They are coming in the long term. And in the beginning, in March, we were thinking, okay, we don't see such an uplift in sales. Yes, of course, we don't see the uplift in sales because it's not a sales campaign. However, in the upcoming months, we saw the huge number of the new registrations. And this year, we we grew the registrations, online registrations, more than 50%, which shows us that indeed sales, it's very important. We need to focus on it. However, from time to time, we need to remember that there needs to be some balance. And right now, we also work on the reach campaigns that are ongoing, just to make sure that we are definitely reaching new people, and we are not focusing only in the salesy part. So yes, indeed, in the past we were focusing mainly on registrations, mainly on sales, but this year was a big shock for us and eye-opener with a very successful campaign. So from this perspective, I must say, next year we have a budget planned for the brand and for the sales campaigns. Mm-hmm. And you ask also about the influencers. Yes, how we work with the influencers and ads mix, right?
How do you see maybe the percentages or the mix between the two?
It's still visible that the ads are taking a bigger space of advertising, and I would say that, but still, that's the two core areas that we spent our budgets for. And I would say that ads will be still around 50% and influencers will be 30-25. So I think it will be around, influencers still will be around half of the budget. But we need to remember that also in the budget we have the boost of the influencers activities planned. So it's a combination and support. I think that whatever we do right now, it needs to have the follow-up, meaning we shouldn't do ad hoc things. We should think rather how the communication should float and go further on the market.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about the next year, and I wanted to get your take on, let's say, 3 key focus areas or tactics for 2023 for Oriflame Romania.
Well, for us, definitely area that we will focus very strongly on is rejuvenation. We want to focus on the younger generation and bringing younger generation to our sales force and our customers. And TikTok will be in the core of this activity. I believe that recommendations should be a second point to continue and to boost it even more next year. And I will continue with the reach. That will become also a key area to focus on for the next year. And when thinking about the reach, definitely it's about the advertising, but also partnerships with other brands. I hope that we will be able to open more doors and collaborate with other companies. I think that this is a great opportunity for all of us, and especially having in mind the time. I think that the companies should simply support each other, and complement each other. I truly believe that we have a great opportunity here from beauty company perspective. We've got a great tool in our hands. We've got opportunity to propose the beauty days, skincare testing for the employees, organizing the events together, and increasing the knowledge about the beauty and health wider. So I hope that we will extend this area, and we will work closer with other companies as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a very refreshing point of view that I've not heard until now, whereas I think most brands, as you mentioned earlier, would be more focused on getting more of that like digital real estate, whereas you were talking about, hey, we need to collaborate. These are trying times for all of us. So it's nice that you wrap things up like this. I just have this last set of questions, whereas previously I've provided you with at least some of these questions, the base questions for you. These questions coming up now, you've never seen, you've never heard before. It's something that we call the quick fire round, and it's simple. Shoot. The first one is a fill in the blanks question, and the first one is: the internet was made for what purpose?
I believe for the search.
Okay.
And making our lives easier. I must say that I cannot imagine how in the past people were able to find the location without internet, and how they were able to drive from Romania to Greece and find the water there. I must say that internet help us to find the places and and make our lives much easier.
If you had to choose one of these two, mega influencers or micro influencers?
In the past, I would say mega, but actually, I must say that now I'm very big fan of the micro influencers. I think that what they are doing is amazing, and they are still entering the market. They are very creative. They put more attention into the product, and brand as itself is not perceived as pushed. So I must say that I'm changing my mind during the time, and I would vote for the micro.
Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
There's no, not even a glimpse of.
No,
it's
TikTok.
Okay. Desktop commerce versus mobile commerce.
Mobile.
And the last one, brand-owned content versus user-generated content.
User-generated.
Again, no question.
No question.
It's as simple as that.
Of course, we cannot escape from the branded content. It's very necessary because that's how we present the product. That's how we show the product. And it's very, very needed. However, product in life, in usage, it's much more powerful. If I'm thinking about this lipstick, this is just the packaging if we show it on the visual, on the picture. But when you start to apply this lipstick, you try the shade, you make the test, how is the coverage, you get the experience and do I like the smell? Yes, I do. Do I like the shade? Yes. Do I like the coverage? Yes. So you get 360 answer. Do I want to get this product or not? So for me, user-generated, it's definitely much better.
I think it's a great point to wrap things up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to being on our podcast.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.
We hope to have you soon back again, because it feels like we've just scratched the surface on the things that you personally are doing, and then the company is doing and building and launching and thriving in these troubling times.
Yes, definitely. And I hope that nothing will change and we will not need to redo it again. Let's hope that the stability comes and we will be able to fulfill the strategies that we created for 2023.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.